The Chicago Bulls haven't been winning much lately, but one guy in particular by the name of Josh Giddey has been playing really, really well. And the stock price on Josh Giddey is going to start going up. So prepare for that. That's what we're going to talk about on today's episode. Along with that, we're also going to talk about some of the newcomers. Had a very, very impressive game in their last game versus the Phoenix Suns. And then the Chicago Bulls take on the 76ers later on today. Yeah, I know we're going to talk about it all and break it down, but obviously, you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If y'all tuned in with me today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Now, we know the Chicago Bulls, they took that loss versus the Phoenix Suns, but it was a very, very impressive game from a lot of the young players that we got on this squad. With a lot of the times we crabbing on them. We like, hey, man, what are we doing? But hey, these guys deserve some credit for how they took care of business and competed these last few games for sure. And one guy I got to show some love to is Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, since the Zach Lavine trade, has been very, very impressive, consistent as well. My man's in the last 7 games since the Bulls let go of Zach Lavine, Josh Giddey is averaging 19 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal a game, a block a game, averaging 49% from the field and 51% from the three. During this span, my man has put up 3 20-plus point games, 20-point-plus games, something that I didn't really thought I was going to see out of Josh Giddey at this type of level and this type of consistency versus those Phoenix Suns. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. My guy, he's been playing some really, really good basketball. And I think that when you look at the offensive ability, when he's going downhill, he's making a way for guys all around on the team. And you got to show him love. That defensive side, it has not been horrible. It has been respectable, and you got to show love for that. And I just love when Josh Giddey play physical basketball versus some of the smaller guards that you might see trying to defend him and slow him down. And the biggest thing when it comes to that three-point shot that we've talked about all season long, just let it come within the flow of the offense, man. And he's been doing that. 3 of 5 from the three-point line last game versus the Knicks, 4 of 6. 4 out of 6 versus those Knicks. And then in Detroit, but you know what I'm saying, coming right before the All-Star break, my man's 3 of 4 from the three-point line. I don't need a high volume of three-point shots from Josh Giddey. I don't. I just need him to take it within the flow of the offense and be consistent, and that's what he's been doing. You know, early in the season, they talked about, hey, he wants about $30 million per. My man's with this consistent play is that constantly etching closer and closer to getting that and probably a little bit more. Now, I know that it's going to be, but I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think the Bulls is going to allow this young fella to test the market. And I will say there's a strong chance, you know what I'm saying, that somebody going to look around and be like, hey, we can, you know what I'm saying, we can do something with a guard like Josh Giddey with the size, with the way he's been shooting the ball, his effectiveness on the offensive side of the ball, and he's stepping it up on the defensive side of the ball. Very, very impressive for a young player like Josh Giddey, especially with all the pushback and turmoil he faced before leaving OKC. I know there's still some of us still salty about this Alex Caruso trade. Look, and when it happened, I was highly upset too. But hey, we moving on, and we've been moving on throughout this season, pounding on Josh Giddey. But hey, my man's, he been playing some good basketball. So if we're going to criticize him for not playing good basketball, we damn sure got to show him some love when he does start playing good basketball. And for the last few weeks, he's been playing some really good basketball. So you got to give Josh Giddey some credit. And that stock is starting to go up. And you just got to take it for what you will. The Bulls gonna have some tough decisions to make coming up this offseason. It's gonna be a lot of things that they gotta correct on their end to see how you can move this thing forward for the sake of us. We want to see winning basketball. We know that we ain't gonna see a lot of things change and turn around over, quickly. Like, I don't expect the Chicago Bulls, with whatever direction they go, to just somehow be title contenders next season. But we want to see the team take steps in the right direction and give us a better view of what the future could look like for the Chicago Bulls. So, hey, show love to Josh Giddey, man. You gonna show love to Josh Giddey. The man been balling. The Bulls been needing somebody to step up. Excuse me. The Bulls been needing somebody to step up, and Josh Giddey has been stepping up and playing pretty damn well. And we just got to see how he gonna end this season. I believe I came into this after the All-Star break, said that he was one of the ones that had to have a strong finish to the season. He's off to a great start. We'll see where the rest of it goes, though. But hey, now we talked about Josh Giddey. Now we got to talk about these newcomers. We're talking about Tre Jones, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins. Y'all already know. I was being petty as hell, and quite honestly with you, I was being a bit ridiculous when these guys first joined the team, and I'm like, hey, these guys got to go ahead and earn their minutes. That's what Billy Donovan told me for Montes. So why I can't use Billy Donovan words against him and say these young fellas got to earn their minutes? Be quite frank with you, the evaluation that these guys are going to require, hey, it's necessary. If we keeping it real, and I'm not being ridiculous and petty, these guys got to see some time on the floor. And I'm still going to go out there and fight for my young guys like Julian Phillip and Dalen Terry. But hey, when those guys get in the game, you got to be impactful right off the rip. And for all the criticism I gave to these newcomers, I got to show them a little bit of love. They starting to find their footing with the Chicago Bulls. Talk about Tre Jones. It's not going to be pretty from the scoring output from this said player. But if you're watching the games and you look at his impact on the offensive side of the ball, he brings something for the Chicago Bulls. If you look at the defensive side of what he's able to do, you know what I'm saying? Play tough defense, be able to make plays for others, be able to allow your teammates to come up and have an opportunity to make steals, get some blocks, help him with the rebounding. He's doing a lot of dirty work, so it's not going to be reflective if you go ahead and look at the stats. But I will say, overall, it's been solid from Tre Jones. Kevin Huerter, I was a little weary about this fella. It's been wow. You know what I'm saying? It's been wow since my man scored over double digits in a game. Years from what they was telling me. You know what I'm saying? And Kevin Huerter had his best game versus those Phoenix Suns. He came out. He's starting to shoot the ball well. I hope he can continue that. It is just a small sample size here with us in Chicago. But I would say in that Phoenix Sun game, he looked like he belonged, and he looked like he's going to get some more minutes. That's just what it is. And if he can go ahead and continue to do something, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But I do like him being featured in the offense, you know what I'm saying? Just playing his role, and then hit them threes. You know, to hit them threes, and you're going to give us some size, hit them threes, help rebound, and let's see if you can continuously build off that. So it's been impressive from him. And Zach Collins, with Jalen Smith going down and facing that injury, Zach Collins has been filling in pretty damn well. Last game, 8 points, 10 rebounds, and not many minutes. Hey, you live with that. That's the type of production you need. The same thing goes for the other guys. Tre Jones, Kevin Huerter. Whatever minutes you getting, we need some type of impact. That's especially how we're evaluating this, because us fans and the people that's covering this team day in and day out, we want to go ahead and make sure that the Chicago Bulls are finding good enough talent so we can push this thing forward. So eventually we can have some sustained success. That's all we want. That's all we asking for. We want a clear path of sustained success. It's still a little bleak. I ain't gonna say it's all figured out just by a couple games. No, we're not gonna go that far, but we will keep it a buck to say, hey, the last few games, the Chicago Young Bulls been competing. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be many wins that come out of this. You know what I'm saying? Me and CDubb, we was like, hey, they can get to 27 wins. They got games. You know what I'm saying? They got games to go. About 25 games left, starting with the Sixers tonight. Maybe I think they only won 22 games, 23 games. So yeah, we close, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I think ultimately, as long as these guys are coming out here competing and showing up, this is some of the things you're gonna get with a young team. There's gonna be some competitiveness, and against the better teams with the stars on their squad, like in the Phoenix Sun game, those guys are gonna be able to close the deal. While the Chicago Bulls, this young version of them, are gonna have to learn how to close out and win games for themselves. There's no more Zach Lavine here. There's no more DeMar DeRozan here. Now other guys have to step up and fill that void for closing out games. And who will it be? That's going to be determined on them. Somebody going to have to figure it out. I love what Josh Giddey's been doing. I don't necessarily know if he's that type of guy to go out here and say, hey, I'm going to just take the shots to close the game. Or do you look to guys like a Kobe White? Or do you look, I think it's too early on to put that type of pressure on Montes Buzelis as a rookie. So whatever way they go, or whoever's going to be that guy, they're going to have to rise up and take it for themselves. But in the meantime, in the between time, as a team, they're going to have to figure it out. Play sound defense, take care of the basketball, and make shots. That's what it's going to come down to. But I got to keep it a grand. Very, very impressed the last game from the newcomers on the Chicago Bulls. Now tonight, the Chicago Bulls, they take on the 76ers. It is the Tankathon game. It is the Tankathon game. Guys are already saying, hey, the Sixers should go ahead and shut Embiid down, shut Paul George down, and Mike John. They're going that far. Yes, they are very well going that far, and it is what it is. But if you're looking at these teams in the standings right now, everything is jammed up between the Bulls, the Nets, and the Sixers. They literally are separated by like a game. And the Bulls still holding on to the 10th spot while the Brooklyn Nets are rising for some strange reason. And yeah, the 76ers, it ain't much else to play for right now. What you gonna do? You gonna go in and play hard for a play-in spot and hope that Joel Embiid can suddenly turn around and you can make a run? Even as the 8th seed, bro, you ain't beating Cleveland or Boston. The 8th or 7th seed. Go ahead and pack it in. So I'm kind of on the side of the other guys. Hey, Joel Embiid, take that break, big dog. Take that break, big dog, because it's just not looking good. But tonight's game should be another fun one. You're going to look at the 76ers. You're going to look at Tyrese Maxey. You're going to look at the Kelly Oubre's over there with the Sixers. You're going to look at a number of people. But this is the Tankathon game. So it could very well be an entertaining game. And then in that fourth quarter, somebody can make the call in to, hey, Billy, it's time. Or they can call Nick Nurse, over the 76ers coach. Hey, Nick. Hey, yo, Nick. It's time. And then it could very well turn into some bad basketball. So another fun bad game upcoming, uploaded. I don't necessarily know who will win. The Bulls got 22 wins on the season. They need 5 more to hit the 27 mark. Is this one of those nights to where they just say, hey, we just want to get a win? Or do you just say, hey, it is what it is, and you just let the dominoes fall where they're going to fall? It's going to be an interesting one, man. I just want to see my young Bulls go out there and compete and play some fun basketball. And for sure, y'all make sure y'all tune in, hit that like button and subscribe and turn on your notification bell because we will be live for tonight's game when the Chicago Bulls take on the 76ers tonight at 7 Eastern. We will be live. And we're going to be calling the game, having fun, talking that smack, and watching our Chicago Bulls. I hope Josh Giddey can go ahead and continue. I hope that somebody else steps up along with him. Maybe a Kobe White game. We'll see. We shall see. But that's it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in into another episode. Go ahead and leave your feedback, comments, concerns down in the comment box below. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And y'all already know. We're going to catch y'all on our next one, for sure. Peace out, y'all.
Cognac. Gang.